Canada, the friendliest country in the world if you don't count the French parts. Today, the news broke that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has tested positive for COVID. And this is just another reminder of how contagious this virus is. Even if you're vaxxed, boosted, and in disguise half of the time, COVID will still find you. Now, because he's vaccinated, Trudeau is handling the virus just fine. And that's good news for him because it turns out he's got a much bigger problem to worry about.
Right now, a group of Canadian truck drivers calling themselves the Freedom Convoy, tying up the streets of Ottawa.
Thousands flooded the streets over the weekend. The truckers are using their rigs to block streets and even the entrance to Parliament.
The demonstrations were initially aimed at pushback against vaccine mandates for truck drivers crossing the U.S.-Canada border. But the movement escalated into an expression of disapproval with the Canadian government's COVID-19 policies.
This convoy is all about freedom. It's not only with the truck drivers, it's actually for every single person. You, me, buddy down the road, it doesn't matter. It's all about your free choice.
You can't lock up healthy people and expect them to remain healthy, okay? So the children have not been in school. I personally believe that is wrong. We need to drop the masks, drop the mandates, and start living our lives again.
Yeah. What this woman is saying is probably poignant. I can't tell. I can barely hear anything over the honking. Watching this made me feel bad for anyone who's actually stuck in that traffic all day, because you realize if you were stuck in that traffic, your honk sounds exactly as the protest honk. You can't separate the two. It's like, pop, 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 hey, I'm late for work. That's right, brother, down with the vaccines. But yeah, thousands of these truckers have ground Canada's capital city to a halt. And I'm all for vaccines, but I do get why the truckers wouldn't think that they need them. I mean, think about it. They spend all day, every day, alone in their trucks. The only person they would give COVID to are the hitchhikers that they'll murder or get murdered by. Either way, COVID isn't their biggest problem, is what I'm saying. Now, what I don't understand is why truckers are opposed to masks. I don't get that. I mean, masks are just mud flaps for your face. You just put a sexy lady silhouette on it and you feel right at home. And these COVID protests in Canada are nothing new, by the way, right? Actually, they're not new anywhere in the world. Like, you can walk around outside basically any day and you will see people yelling about how they're not allowed to go outside to do exactly what they're doing. But if you live in Ottawa, well, it turns out you might be seeing this particular protest for a really, really long time.
The people who have organized this say that they will stay out there months if needed. They have raised well over $6 million US to their fund on the GoFundMe page.
The truckers say they're prepared to stay for months, as long as they have fuel.
You're prepared to stay for a month?
Yeah. I got a month's worth of food in there. These are people who have arrived, since Friday in through the rest of this Saturday and plan to stay here, many of them say, until their demands are met.
Damn, you can really feel these truckers' passion. I mean, you can't hear it because they're honking over everything, but still, you heard them. They say that they're going to be there for as long as it takes. And I believe them. Yeah, nobody's more prepared for a months-long protest than a trucker. I mean, think about it. They have all of our stuff in the back of their trucks. Next month, you're gonna see one of them giving an interview wearing the Snuggie that you ordered for Christmas. And it's not just having the supplies, by the way. Truckers make very effective protesters. Like, they can make a lot of noise. They're used to being away from home. And police are afraid to confront them because any one of those trucks could just turn into a transformer. That shit is too risky. Of course, street protests in general are a healthy part of any democracy, like putting up campaign posters or drawing dicks on campaign posters. But things got a little out of hand in Ottawa when some of the freedom protesters decided they wanted a little more freedom than most people were comfortable with.
While much of the protest was peaceful this morning, police are investigating some incidents involving the desecration of national monuments, including Canada's Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Last night, another protester was seen climbing onto the monument. This morning, it was marked with urine stains. The swastika flag seen at protests denounced by two Conservative MPs who had openly supported the convoy.
At this shelter in Ottawa, staff say protesters showed up last night demanding food meant for the homeless. One member was assaulted and a security guard was called a racial slur.
Wow. Nazi flags, peeing on war memorials, shouting racial slurs in homeless shelters. Honestly, it's kind of refreshing to see Canadians break their stereotype. Although maybe they did all of this in like a very polite way. Go back to where you came from, eh? I'll give you a ride if you want. I do kind of feel bad for the vast majority of the protesters who aren't Nazis, though, because, like, I mean, people, let's admit it, once a Nazi flag shows up at a rally, the whole thing has just turned into a Nazi rally. You know, it's like when you put the cantaloupe in a fruit salad. Doesn't matter what other fruits are in there, it all tastes like cantaloupe now. Cantaloupe is the Hitler of fruit, is what I'm saying. Well, for more on this saga, let's go now to Desi Lydic, who is live at the protests. Desi, what's the latest on this trucker protest?
Trevor, if one thing's clear, it's that
Desi, sorry, can you say that all again, please? The horns were drowning you out. We couldn't hear anything.
Guys, could you please stop honking? I'm trying to like the penis of a starfish.
Sorry, Desi, the horn honking was too loud, except for the starfish penis, which actually, you know what, doesn't really matter. Actually, could you just tell us what's happening right now in Canada? Where's this going?
Yeah, you know what, let me try Morse code.
Morse code? Yeah, because we're both ship captains in the 19th century. Okay, what, are you gonna honk out your message? Oh, Jesus, I haven't done this in so long. All right, if one thing is clear, it's that the horns are too loud. I mean, I knew that. You didn't have to Morse code. You know what, Desi, this was a huge waste of time. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you so much for sending me up to freezing cold Canada, you asshole. Oh, now you stop honking.